Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Menkov. I'm a ruling reality coach. Today is 16th of March, 2023, and I'm continuing my series Daily Reality with Alex. I'm doing this series during the whole of 2023. And while I am constantly observing and exploring reality for myself, I'm just sharing everything that makes sense for me, everything that is helping me to practically apply in my personal reality, and I would love to share it with you as much as it is possible. So today I would like to speak about neutral reality. How are we engaging in reality in such a way that we are neutral to everything, and in the same time, we are actively participating in our daily reality? It is a very big question for all of us all the time, because the problem of reality is that it is very sticky and we can very easily be glued to some specific experience in reality, and we can transform it and translate it in every other of our experiences, because we cannot unglue out of a specific scenario, for example. And we can all give a lot of examples how something from our past, from our memories, is still translated, even from young ages till today, into our reality. And it is something that is constantly working in our mind, and we have glued upon something in reality. And all of us can give a lot of examples about this. And since I am trying to work through reality in the most neutral way as possible, in order not to be stuck and not to be glued and to be detached from anything in the physical materiality, and only for one purpose. And the purpose is that for me, the invisible, the unknown, the beyond is much more important and long-term. As a placenta in a womb, I want my placenta to be always stuck into the unknown and never into some scenarios or some specific experiences from my life. Because it's very easy, especially when we find ourselves complaining about specific situations that doesn't happen according to the way we programmed them or anticipated them, and then we can complain, and especially it is very easily to be glued and stuck for negative situations. Of course, some of us which are more into significance can live all our life based on one specific success towards which we are 100% glued, and we're speaking to everybody about remembering our big once upon a time success. It's again part of the problem with neutrality and detachment. Then there is much more to reality than this, and this type of disengagement from reality and engagement with reality is very important, because a lot of us are thinking and are knowing that since the physical materiality is not so important, we are going to go through the day totally dysfunctional and without interacting and involving ourselves into this physical materiality, because we say, well, we don't care. We don't care about anything around us. We don't care about our own personal reality. We don't care about our family. We don't care about our health. We don't care about our body. We don't care about our future, because the only thing we care is about what is to live outside of the reality. And I understand that a lot of people that are usually or sometimes into the different type of stimulants that are helping them to detach from reality, but they don't understand that this is not the point. The paradox is that actually, if we want to achieve exactly what we want, we are to do the opposite actions. For example, if you want to detach from reality and to understand what is beyond, we are to oppositely and paradoxically to 100% start interacting with reality every possible moment, and to start experiencing it and to start being present in the physical materiality. Only then we will be able to easily go into the detachment, but not because we hate the physical materiality, not because it's a soul trap, but we are doing it because it is a necessity for us to go into the beyond, just because it's like the breathing. Just imagine now a scenario that our physical materiality is like a movie in which we are playing usually the main role, because it's subjective reality where we are the main player. But in every movie, they are not playing and recording all the time. There is behind the stage time, and be sure that the behind the stage time is even much more than what is up front the stage time. Of course, it's a little bit different because in reality, you cannot cut, you cannot make doubles, you cannot make triples, you cannot do the same thing till you don't make it perfect in reality, because we don't fake reality till we make it. It happens as it is. We need to acknowledge it. We need to accept the way we play it. And then when we withdraw from the physical matter reality through the different ways and techniques to do it, then when we are behind the stage and when we are the one that is not actively playing in the moment in the physical matter reality, then we are to reflect. Then we can truly observe the player. Then we can truly understand that we were not the actual character that was playing in this movie, but we are just involving ourselves into this interaction. But our essence as a being is belonging to the behind the scene, is belonging to the beyond. That's why it is very good to go through different type of practices of detachment from reality, but not at the expense of becoming dysfunctional in the physical materiality. For me, this is something that I'm observing a lot, because in the physical materiality, there is a lot of delusions. There are a lot of diversions, and it is very easily for us to play the trap and to go from one version and then to try to come back in the backstage. Then we think that we are more of a character, even in the backstage. Then we go into playing again. Then we go back and we think that we are even more, and we are associating more with the player and more with the player and more with the player. Then we are involving our feelings. Then we are involving our energy, and we are so much into the character. But in reality, it's totally the opposite. We are to constantly reflect and think about the observer and the real relationship between the observer, the player, and the directors, and all of the involved beings into setting the stage for all of us to participate in. Of course, we cannot say that reality is 100% a movie, or that reality is 100% non-important. On the contrary, because it is constantly showing us the real us, how it's behaving, how it is working, to what extent, not that we have developed ourselves, but to what extent we are allowing ourselves our true essence of unlimitlessness to leash up into the reality. To what extent we are able to work into the physical materiality's limitation, but while using our behind the scene potential. Because, for example, in this physical materiality, we look like that we have different potential. For example, I can say, well, I have very big potential into financial area, into business area, into some relationship area, for example, because I had used a little bit more of some of the so-called human development mindset, thinkings, and so on. And I can be very confident that I can be a very good participant in the physical matter reality. But if I place my confidence upon the character, then I'm starting to missing the point, because in reality, what is important for me is to unleash more and more of my behind the scene and the beyond essence into the physical matter reality, because only then transformational experiences are happening in the limited physical matter reality. For me personally, for all that are around me, and for you. So the three things we are to remember is to learn that by detaching, we are actually tapping to the real placenta of the real us, the essence of the beyond the physical matter reality being, which is the so-called us. Then we are to never miss the two worlds, because we cannot put our significance upon what we have or to complain about we don't have, because the opposite of significance is to say, well, Alex, you see, my physical matter reality is so bad, I don't want to interact with it a lot because everything is such a big limitations, and it only means that I'm such a poor essence. And in reality, all of us have such a beautiful, powerful behind the scene potential that we are able to express in the physical materiality only if we are able to detach from the physical materiality and to constantly attach ourselves to the beyond, but not at the expense of the interaction. It is like if we are giving the following example, which is better, to inhale or to breathe out? When I'm detaching from reality, I'm exhaling. When I'm attaching again to reality, I'm inhaling. It is like living under the water and above the water. But the above the water in the physical matter and non-physical matter reality, the above the water is when we are in our non-physical matter alternate consciousness state. And when we are under the water in the physical matter reality, that's why we are to constantly use the consciousness, not in order to constantly monitor what is happening under the water, but not to forget that there is something much more precious above the waters towards which we are to constantly be connected and to know that there is one more breath waiting for us into the beyond, where we can be refreshed once again in order to enter with full power again the physical matter reality. And this is a very important part of our understanding of reality, because this is part of acknowledging that we are border zone creatures and we never have experience only in one dimension of realities. So, in a sense, the more we want to interact, the more deep we want to go into the physical matter reality, more hunger we are going to develop for the beyond that is responsible for the physical matter reality. more we are going to appreciate every breath that we are taking when we are moving into the beyond. More time for preparation in the unknown, into the unseen, into the beyond, into the secret where nobody is seeing us from the physical materiality. Then the real us starts to pop up and is possible to breathe. That's why, for me, this is a very important part of how I am interacting with reality and why I have decided to be as much as possible to the extent of what is even above the limits to really interact and to challenge everything that is possible in the physical materiality, because only then I'm in a hunger for much more breathing experience and having much of my time of exploring of what is the above, what is the beyond, what is the air out there in the unseen. And this is what was my encouragement for all of you, to never forget that we are border zone creatures, and we are to learn that paradoxically, yes, we are to be neutral to the physical materiality's outcomes, but also we are to develop passion about the unknown, and from there we are able to draw care and interactional motivational force for moving through reality and go through whatever reality is presenting before us, because we know that our rewardings are not in the physical materiality outcomes, but all our rewardings are when we are able to breathe freely in the above, in the unknown, and in the beyond. So this is my encouragement for you. Instead of logically trying to escape the physical materiality and just trying to be in the unknown, and always and constantly asking questions, why I'm doing this, why I'm disengaging from the physical materiality, why do I spend so much time about myself, what I'm preparing myself for. And we're just going into more and more delusion because just the direction is not right. I'm not saying that it's not good to try to know, to be prepared, to constantly develop ourselves. But if and only once we understand the interactional purpose in the physical materiality, only then we are going to turn our attitude and our desires towards the right direction. And this is all for today. This is all that I was willing to share, because for me, this is a very big principle. For more than 25 years, I consciously didn't want to interact with the physical materiality because I thought it is worthless and there is no meaning at all in the physical materiality. And now when I discovered that the only meaning of the physical materiality is just to give me the desire to spend more time into the non-physical, more time into the beyond, more time into developing my relationships with the beings that are governing the invisible, and because of this, are able to influence the physical materiality. So this is everything that I was willing to share. It is part of my ruling reality basic program message, where I'm passionate about making people with which I interact to become again in love with their reality. And that's why many times I'm identifying as a matchmaker between these beautiful beings and their beautiful physical material realities. So thank you for watching. Enjoy your reality and learn to be neutral, but in a very interactional and effective way. Bye-bye.